Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today, the theme is gold and gold surge. Is Bitcoin going to follow? Is Bitcoin poised to rally after the surge? Let's talk about it. There are some signs, and of course, there's other great news to discuss. So, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are starting out a day green today, 113, and there's a slight recovery with most of the alts. Of course, I've been talking a lot about Aster, and Aster is still doing very well at 15%. But you know what's outperforming even Aster? I'll get to that at the end of this video. All right, let's see. Today, the U.S. market is trying to recover from Powell's nasty interview yesterday, okay, where he said that markets are fairly highly valued or something along those lines. Basically, he was saying markets are too hot right now. Things are too expensive. So that brought everything down. Let's see if Wall Street disagrees and starts buying again. But it did send a lot of other stock markets to go down. European stock market slid because of it. So people did not like what he had to say. I did not like what he had to say. There was no reason for him to say or make comments like that. The Fed only cares about two things: price stability and jobs, right? That's really it. He has always said, and others have said, price of equities or stock market it should not be considered. And somehow that language came out yesterday and just spooked a whole lot of people. But let's see what happens today if we can recover. What else? Because of yesterday's scare, we had, unfortunately, another outflow day. BlackRock still took in 2.5 million, but everyone else sold, and we had a minus 104 million day. No good. No good at all. And it's even worse for ETH. ETH had a minus 141 million day. So we had a couple good days, and then we had a couple bad days. So let's see what happens today. Now, something else that's very disappointing is this person, Dennis Porter, which I covered yesterday. He was hyping up that he spoke to people and there was some big announcement coming. Remember, we watched the Trump UN address, right? People were thinking they were related. Trump's going to say something. Administration's going to say something. This guy was hyping it up. I even covered it, and then turned out we all got fooled. He just announced some candidate to run for California. Someone that, I don't know, just like a political campaign, basically. And everyone's so pissed they're banning or just threatening him on X now, you know? So I guess if the purpose was just to get a lot of attention, it worked, but, you know, it's all negative attention at this point. What else? The U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve Audit, I think most people forgot about it. I forgot about it. But Scott Benson is supposed to be doing some kind of reserve audit on what they have and what all the other departments have. Right, so they get an accurate number. Arkham, you know, tracked the wallet address before and showed that some were missing or whatever. There's some confusion there, right? So there's supposed to be some kind of audit, and it's like a half year overdue. So I don't know what's taking so long, and whether or not this is really important. And also David Sachs, too, who's the crypto czar. I don't even know if he's still working for Trump, because I think it's supposed to be just a temporary position. And I've been hearing that senators are calling him out or something like that. So we do have some confusion right now, right? Some mixed messages, even though we have a lot of Trump-related projects doing very well, like World Liberty Financial and Trump Coin itself and American Bitcoin. I mean, you got all these companies. But when it comes to like the Bitcoin Reserve and Audit and everything else that relates to it, we're still kind of waiting for it. But you know, there's other pressing matters, so I get it. I get it. All right, but while we wait, what else? Well, companies are not waiting. There's another firm that buys 100 Bitcoins to launch treasury plan, right? And so many, I cover them every single week. There are so many that are coming in. Not just whales, not just long-term holders, but companies, public trade companies that are building up their treasury, right? And because of this, Saylor predicts Bitcoin will outgrow gold as corporate adoption rises. And we know that he's leading away. Metaplanet is also leading away. But there are so many. Every week we see like 6,000 to 8,000 Bitcoin being bought for Bitcoin treasuries, right, from new and existing companies. It's happening every single week, right? And you just don't hear about that with gold. You don't hear about some company starting up a gold treasury. No, Bitcoin treasuries, right? That's the thing. That's the thing. And if you look at, of course, the fundamentals, which is important, like Bitcoin reserves continues to drop throughout 2024 to 2025, you could see it's just dropping. So let's go add up. Even though right now we may be going through some volatility, you guys know that. We're still up in the month of September. We're definitely up year to date. We're definitely up year to year performance, right? So right now we may be going through one of those stale phases, but all this that I'm mentioning about exchange reserves dropping, OTC supply dropping, corporations building up Bitcoin treasuries, all these have an effect. It's just not that immediate, but over time it's definitely having an effect, right? And right now we know that gold has broken out. A lot of people have been talking about gold breaking the new high about 3,800. But you know what? It took gold decades to do the same thing. Okay? That chart started all the way in 2009, and now we're in 2025. Right? That's 26 years that gold bugs had to wait for a significant breakout. Not the case with Bitcoin. We wait 4 years, and every 4 years, we get a parabolic rise. But it hasn't started yet. Probably will. Probably will. Gold and Bitcoin, although we don't think they're alike, their charts actually move pretty similarly, except Bitcoin's time scale is just much, much shorter than gold. And something else too is the global M2 money supply, which Bitcoin tracked very, very closely. Okay, very closely. We usually have a 3-month delay between Bitcoin and that supply, the liquidity supply catching up. But you could see going back to 2024 and 2025, Bitcoin's price was basically locked in, okay, to that liquidity. Sometimes it's off. Sometimes it gets off a little bit. Right now, that gap is as large as it's ever been. And for Bitcoin to catch up, it needs to rally to like $250,000, which could definitely happen within the next 3 months. The tail end of a 4-year cycle, that's usually when it's most bullish, right? So right now, it seems like we're a little bit behind. But global liquidity, which is basic global money, is skyrocketing. Skyrocketing. So get ready, be prepared, right? Now that we've seen gold rally, Bitcoin's poised to be next. And if we follow this money trail, Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher and very, very quickly to close that gap. All right. Now, outside of Bitcoin, what else? Hyper liquid. There's a lot of talk about perpetual derivative exchanges. Decentralized perpetual exchanges. Basically, DEXs that have derivatives, right? They just came out with their own stablecoin, USDH. I don't quite understand why they need a stablecoin, okay? But they are doing so, and they have this new pair. Hyperliquid has been around for over a year. A lot of traders have moved to it. They want to get off of sexes like Binance and others. But right now, you guys know the name of the game is Aster. Aster has been skyrocketing ever since it debuted because of CZ's tweets, because of other news like this, where they came out and said that they're going to be releasing their own chain. So that's going to be big. So are they going to release their own stablecoin too? Don't know. But all these projects want their own chain because you could collect a crazy amount of fees. Okay. So they're following the same footsteps, sort of. But right now, there's no question. Revenue has surpassed Hyperliquid in a big way. It's a short time scale, so not over 7 days or 30 days. But once it happens, it's clear then that it's become the leader. And you could see spot volume too. People didn't know there are spot trading as well on Aster, and that has surpassed Hyperliquid as well. So that's a crazy feat within such a short amount of time. And even crypto whales are dumping hype for Aster. So that's the reason why, in case you're wondering, why Aster keeps continuing to go up and it doesn't seem to stop. And even at its current evaluation, it's still like 5x smaller than Hyperliquid. So does it have room to grow? Yeah. And you got others like Aventus, which is based on base. It did climb really well. It's consolidating. But if Aster continues to build hype around decentralized derivative exchanges, then others are going to benefit, like Aventus, and Bluefin is another one on Sui. And then what else? I saw this. Even though a lot of you guys may not feel like it, feel like Alt are doing well or Bitcoin's doing well or anything's doing well, the number of crypto millionaires increased 40% year over year. 40% from last year to this year. So even though a lot of people say, where's altcoin season? I don't see it. I'm not making any money. There are definitely people making money. There are a lot of people that turned millionaire status over this last year. So this is why you got to stay in the game. Continue to DCA and Hodl. It's how you win. All right, that is pretty much it. I guess we'll see how the rest of the day goes. But I did say at the beginning, as hot as Aster is, there's one that is outperforming it. And you know which one that is? That is Clash. Look at that. We had a nice breakout yesterday, and it is sitting at all-time high. It was even higher. It was almost 900K. Now it's 800K. Up 112% in the last 24 hours. And I've been telling you guys about this free giveaway form, right? I've been giving out Sol for the last 2 days just by having some Clash. And this week's tournament on Friday is going to be enormous. It's going to be big. It's going to be the biggest one we ever had. So Just wanted to point that out. All right, guys. Let's do some Q&A. In terms of stocks, Coinbase is recovering a little bit. Yesterday I had a horrible dump. BNR is still down. ETH is just not doing well, so I could see that. Robinhood continues to do well, which is good. Nvidia is picking up a little bit. Yesterday it dumped down again because of Powell. Palantir is up slightly. Just so you guys know, I've been talking about Discord a lot. Today, boot camp is starting. And a lot of people have been asking about it in Discord. If you are interested in learning how to trade, okay, Tyler will teach you. He's very good at it. And this is the second one we're having this month. So, and it's completely free. It's live, interactive. If you want to ask questions. So it's not too late to jump into Discord today and join Bootcamp. And all you have to do is go into the channel here called Join Bootcamp, and it will tell you exactly what to do. And afterwards, you go into Bootcamp announcement, and that's where the link is posted, right? I think it's going to be right here around 5 p.m. Eastern, which is 4 p.m. Central. So hopefully some of you guys are off work. And even if you can't attend live, you can watch the recorded video, right? Again, this is completely free. You don't have to pay, you're just learning. But outside of that, people are really excited about Clash. You know, people are like up all night talking about it. It's going nuts, so that's good. It's a really good community, guys. We're almost at 3,700 users. No reason why not to join. Bit of everything. Do you think crypto gaming will take off at some point, or is it dead? At some point. Too bad Clash Royale isn't a Web3 game. It is a Web2 game. But if we had more games like that in the Web3 world, it'd probably do better. But, you know, if we get into full-blown altcoin season, there's always a chance a lot of the gaming project will come back. Do I expect October? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You know, this year, I'm telling you guys, this year feels so similar to last year. Last year, same thing. September, you could see August, we had red August, right? And then last year, September, I remember it felt kind of boring until we started rallying. Then we had the best September ever for Bitcoin. And then we went into October, and I remember it was red at the beginning, and then towards the end, we flipped into green, and then we followed it up with an amazing November. This year around could be the same thing. We are still up in September. It may not feel like it, but we're up in September still. We could ride this out or go sideways until October, where we get a bigger rally, and then that leads us into November, December. Keep in mind that we do have 2 more rate cuts. We have one next month, and we have one more in December. Just hit 2 Bitcoin millionaire by 2028. Ooh. By 2029, I would say. 2029 is the 4th year. So will Bitcoin hit 500,000 by 2029? I think so. So yes. Why are you guys all talking about Wendio? I've met her many times. She's been nice. She's very small. She's very short. She's like 5 feet. Probably 5 feet 5'1". Yeah, she's been around for a long time. Where do you see Bitcoin and crypto in general in 20 years? In 20 years, I see a lot of things being tokenized, a lot of dApps in the App Store that will be crypto based or on blockchain, and people won't even know it. It'll be way more integrated into everything else that it's not going to be a big deal that something is on the blockchain anymore. Right now, it is, and it's still sort of taboo in the general world, like to be a crypto related project. In 20 years, it'll be natural. You have to be a crypto related project in 20 years or you're going to be behind. Yeah, market is not doing that well right now. Thoughts on XRP and BlackRock collab? I have no idea what collab you're talking about. Bull market is a scam. You have to be a hustler to make money in this market now. Not if you're a long-term holder, no. If you're looking for short-term gains, yeah, you could trade, you can gamble, or you could buy Clash. But if you're a long-term holder, you're guaranteed to make money. Well, at least with Bitcoin, not with a lot of others. I don't think you could do TA on a meme coin, but my team has been. Josh has posted some. It's really about community building and partnerships and having substance. So I'm going to change things. Everyone else on Pump.Fun, you know, they stream, but they don't have any substance. I'm going to build substance. I will prove to people that you can build a really good meme community coin that's built on something and is sustainable. Q Miller just joined Discord. Welcome. The form that you guys may be wondering about is pinned in Discord under the Clash Royale channel. It is also pinned in the description of this video. So make sure you guys do fill it out if you have some Clash. And when I say some, it's 500,000, which was only about $100 worth, maybe a day or two ago. Now it's probably about $200 something worth. Josh says my TA said Clash is going to zillions. How many rounds of manipulation market makers could go before letting the price go up? It could go infinitely. But it really depends on if they can make some money liquidating, or they have to, you know. Like if the market gets too long or too short, that's usually when it happens. Do you think if they audit a BTC reserve and find no BTC will lead to a black swan event? No, it won't lead to a black swan event, but it won't be good either. So if somehow $200,000, 200,000 Bitcoin is lost, it's lost, but I'm sure they'll find it. You know, you can't really lose it. They could track it. They could look at what has happened. And here's the thing. If it was already sold and the market ate it up already, then it's really not going to cause anything. But this was really hyped up. Obviously, the other crypto Bitcoin reserve bill that Cynthia Loomis was trying to push, which asked the U.S. government to buy Bitcoin over the next 5 years, up to 1 million. That is a lot more bullish. Just holding what we have is great, but I mean, if you think about it, it's not really that bullish. Seems like the market makers only liquidated the downside. You mean liquidate the longs? Well, because most people are long right now. If we were in a downtrend and there were a lot of shorts, they would do the same thing, right? And we would get a lot of bounces back up. So sometimes it's a good thing. No, I'm not going to Singapore. I'm skipping token this year. I got so many invites for so many private events and after parties and other conferences. I decided to skip Singapore because I don't want to fly for 24 hours. And then with the jet lag, so I would only be going for 4 days. And 2 of those days would be, no, I'll be gone for 6 days, but 2 of those 6 days would be just flying. And then I have to get used to the jet lag, which will take another 2 days going there and coming back. So it's like a lot of pain. So I just didn't think it was worth it. And plus the astronomical cost to go there and back, even though I would get sponsorship, but still, it's just not worth it. So I'm skipping this year. Maybe next year. Who orange pilled me? Back then, nobody. I just read it and I got involved because I was in tech. I was in IT. So I read that you can mine something called Bitcoin. And that's how I got in. And I thought it was fun to build these mining rigs, you know, because I love building computers, at least before. So I built up all these mining rigs in my basement in these milk crates, and then I expanded to these big wireframe cabinets or shelves. And I had like 150 GPUs running in my basement, and I had to get an electrician to put in more sockets, and it was extremely hot, and I had to get like these big fans blowing in minus 20 degree air into my basement. Otherwise everything would overheat, and the house was always very hot. But it was fun. It was fun. I think a lot of you guys are asking about this collab between BlackRock and Ripple. I think this is what you're talking about. This is for their RLUSD. keep in mind. So it's not using XRP. But it does help Ripple because obviously they're making fees from this. And there's a little bit of burning based on usage. But overall, it's more based on their stablecoin. I covered their upgrade proposal to 3.0, and that seems huge. Do I think Aster is a bubble? You know, I thought the same thing about Hyperliquid. When it was rising up and up and up, I'm like, there's no way this could keep going and no way that it could sustain itself. You know, in crypto, you know, irrational things happen all the time, right? And look at where Hyperliquid is now, like $18 billion. So is it overvalued? Probably. So is Aster overvalued right now at like 3 billion? No, if you compare it to Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid, okay, has fallen to 15 billion, but still 15 billion. And FDV is 3 times as high at 45 billion. So there's a lot more tokens they didn't even release. So you're comparing 3.7 billion to 15 billion. So is it overpriced? No, because it still has to go up 4x, 5x to reach hype. Jamie, how do I get Clash? You got Jupiter, you got Radium. You can buy directly from the Pump.Fun account that I've been streaming on. It's built in, but you got to have Soul and you have to have a wallet. Coinbase is still up today. So that's sort of a good sign. If Coinbase turns red today, then you know Wall Street's going to be selling off. But overall, Wall Street hasn't been selling off that much, right? You figured these would be astronomical numbers, especially yesterday, if they were the ones behind the crash. And they're not. 100 million is not going to move anything. So yesterday was definitely not because of this. Could be the miners, could be just whales manipulating, again, liquidating. But it ain't Wall Street. So right now, if Coinbase turns green, that's a really good sign that they're loading up. I'm excited about the tournament this Friday. Last Friday we had 87 people join. I think this time we're gonna probably have like 200 people, 300 people. I think it'll be good. I'm gonna try to get some collaborations going, some partnerships going. I think it's gonna be really good. What do you think about Russian talk about U.S. planning to dump their debt into crypto? Yeah, that's too much debt to be dumping. Why does one man have the biggest effect on markets? Because that's how it is. They say the most powerful man on the planet is the president of the United States. The second most powerful is the Fed chair. Because he has the power to crash markets. Literally, whatever he says is being studied and can crash markets, not just for the US, worldwide. That's how much power he has. So it's just like that. Will there be even an October this year? Yes. Based on history, based on what has happened last year and previous Octobers, I would say it's very highly, there's a high chance that we will have an October. But maybe it's not as up as people want, but that's just how it is. I had it up. Last year we were up 11% in October. The year before that, 28%. You could see October is probably the most bullish month for crypto. What class level? I'm like right around 14K trophies. Yesterday I was trying to grind to 15. I did not do well. Once I get to 15, then I can play ranked. I don't know. I just feel like my skills ain't that good yet. But it's good enough to get me to where I am now. Kind of disappointed that Sol dropped so much recently. It was holding pretty well around 220 after coming down from 240s. And then, boom, now we're down to 212. We need to get back up to 220 again. Do you collect crypto rewards on Clash? No, you don't. It's a Web 2 game. Okay? But we have weekly prize tournaments. So it's free to join. But if you want to win those prizes, last week, number one winner, I should say, got 2 Sol. It's like $500. And then I also matched a lot of people that had Clash. Overall, last week I gave out like $2,000 at least worth of prizes. So as we continue to build this, more and more players get involved, we could get bigger and bigger tournaments. And it's just a fun thing. You know, even if you don't play the game, you can watch it. But a lot of people are starting to get involved. It's like a game that you can play. It gets very addictive. It's just something fun on the side. But now there's a token around it too. So that's where it gets really interesting. So that's how I relate to Web 2 with Web 3. Jay, you're going to have to wait. This is what I have, and I'm building a community around it, and we'll see where it goes. I do have big plans, though. This is my first entrance into building out a community for a meme coin, and we'll see how it goes. There seems to be a lot of XRP hate right now, or love. I don't know where that's coming from. But a lot of crypto millionaires probably were XRP holders. There's no doubt about it. XRP was stuck at 30 cents or below 30 cents for 8 years. But now it's gone up 10x. So good for people that's been holding and DCing. Dang it, Bob, you will not know. But Clash is where it's at right now. Sonia, which of your kids do you think show interest in learning? My oldest one, definitely. They both have crypto. They've been giving me their extra money so that they can buy crypto with it. But I think my oldest one cares more because he sees kind of the future. He's older, so he understands more. My youngest one right now doesn't really care. I think he's just doing it because he doesn't want to fall behind and his brother's doing it. But they're both involved. I think all kids are going to be and need to be. You can't have a blind eye to crypto. Not now. That's like saying, you know, you turn a blind eye to AI right now. That'd just be silly. That'd be very silly. So I think all kids need to be involved with AI, learning how to use it to maximize their potential, their earnings, because AI is going to take over everyone's jobs in like 10 to 20 years. So you got to utilize it while you still can. And the best way to build wealth is still crypto. So the sooner the kids learn about investing and crypto, the better. London Link, I think you're right about that. I think he's too spoiled. All right, guys, that is it. Overall today, you know, kind of a slow day, but it'll pick up, guys. Do not get discouraged. There's a lot of things happening, okay? And join Discord and check out Clash. So have a good one. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Since so many people asked about XRP, I gotta play this for you guys. All right, enjoy.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.